Gullivers Travels and Other Writings, Jonathan Swift. Chapter 7. The author leaves Lagado, arrives at Maldonada. No ship ready. He takes a short voyage to Glubdubdrip. His reception by the governor. The continent of which this kingdom is a part extends itself, as I have reason to believe, eastward to that unknown tract of America, westward of California, and north to the Pacific Ocean, which is not above 150 miles from Lagado, where there is good port and much commerce, with the great island of Lugnac, situated to the northwest about 29 degrees north latitude and 140 longitude. This island of Lugnac stands southeastwards of Japan, about 100 degrees distant. There is strict alliance between the Japanese Empire and King of Lugnac, which affords frequent opportunities of sailing from one island to the other. I determined therefore to direct my course this way in order to return to Europe. I hired two mules with a guide to show me the way and carry my baggage, my small baggage. I took leave of my noble protector, who had shown me so much favor and made me a generous present at my departure. My journey was without any accident or adventure worth relating. When I arrived at the port of Maldonado, for so it is cancelled, there was no ship in the harbour bound for Lugnac, nor like to be in some time. The town is about as large as Portsmouth. I soon fell into some acquaintance and was very hospitably received. A gentleman of distinction said to me that since the ships bound for Lugnac could not be ready in less than a month, it might be no disagreeable amusement for me to take a trip to the little island of Glubdubdrip, about 5 leagues off to the southwest. He offered himself and a friend to accompany me, and that I should be provided with a small convenient bark for the voyage. Glubdubdrip, as nearly as I can interpret the word, signifies the island of sorcerers or magicians. It is about one third as large as the Isle of Wight and extremely fruitful. It is governed by the head of a certain tribe, who are all magicians. This tribe marries only among each other, and the eldest in succession is prince or governor. He hath a noble palace and a park of about 3,000 acres, surrounded by a wall of hewn stone 20 foot high. In this park are several smaller enclosures for cattle, corn, gardening. The governor and his family are served. And Chapter 11. The author leaves Lugnac and sails to Japan. From thence he returns in a Dutch ship to Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam to England. I thought this account of the Strudelbergs might be some entertainment to the reader, because it seems to be a little out of the common way. At least I do not remember to have met like in any book of travels that hath come to my hands, and if I am deceived, my excuse must be that it is necessary for travelers who describe the same country very often to agree in dwelling on the same particulars, without deserving the censure of having borrowed or transcribed from those who wrote before them. There is indeed a perpetual commerce between this kingdom and the great empire of Japan, and it is very probable that the Japanese authors may have been some account of the Strudelbergs. But my stay in Japan was so short, and I was so entirely a stranger to the language that I was not qualified to make any enquiries. But I hope the Dutch, upon this notice, will be curious and able enough to supply my defects. His Majesty, having often pressed me to accept some employment in his court, and finding me absolutely determined to return to my native country, was pleased to give me his license to depart, and honored me with a letter of recommendation under his own hand to the Emperor of Japan. He likewise presented me with 444 large pieces of gold, this nation delighting in even numbers, and a red diamond which I sold in England for £1,100. On the 6th day of May 1709, I took a solemn leave of His Majesty and all my friends. This prince was so gracious as to order a guard to conduct me to Glonguquistol, which is a royal port to the southwest part of England. In 6 days, I found a vessel ready to carry me to Japan, and spent 15 days in the voyage. We landed at a small port town called Samoshi, situated on the southwestern part of Japan. The town lies on the western part, where there is a narrow strait leading northward into the long arm of the sea, upon the northwest part of which Yedo, the metropolis, stands. At landing, I showed the custom house officers my letter from the King of Lagnang to His Imperial Majesty. They knew the seal perfectly well. It was as broad as the palm of my hand. The impression was a king lifting up a lame beggar from the earth. The magistrate